much for joining us, the Lagos and Town Secretary, the African Boys. Yes, today is World Contraception Day. Do I see you raise an eyebrow? Are you the conservative type who believe that issues on sexuality must not be openly discussed? You may just be wrong. Now, to put the record straight, in 2007, a coalition of 16 international NGOs, government organizations, including scientific and medical societies with interest in sexual and reproductive health issues, came together and then put aside a day to spread the word and raise awareness about contraception and, of course, the importance of contraception and safe sex. Since then, World Contraception Day has been celebrated across the globe to help each new generation understand that there is nothing like unplanned, children, if you like, to make adults get informed decisions until every pregnancy in the world is a planned one. Now, most times you hear people say, oh, that's an unwanted pregnancy, and these people are saying there shouldn't be anything like that. According to reproductive health experts, about 200 million people worldwide are estimated to become pregnant each year, and 59% of those people, that's about 123 million women, experience a planned or intended pregnancy leading to a birth or miscarriage or a stillbirth. The remaining 41%, that's about 85 million of pregnancies, are unintended. And now these experts are arguing that an estimated 22 million abortions continue to be performed unsafely each year. That's resulting in the death of 47,000 women and disabilities for an additional 5 million women. And if you look at all the statistics, it's very, very staggering. What can be done to prevent unsafe sex and also to ensure that every child, every pregnancy is planned? I have joining me in the studio this Tuesday someone who has been all through the sexual reproductive health issues. She is Mrs. Abimbola Adebulugbe. She is a member of the Lagos State Advocacy Working Group, also known as FISA. And FISA is Public Health Sustainable Advocacy Initiative. She is also the National Master Trainer on Family Planning and Reproductive Health Issues. She's a consultant trainer, Planned Parenthood Federation of Nigeria. And I also like to add that she is a public health nurse, retired but not tired. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
So nice to meet you, ma'am.
I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah. Now, these days, what you have, it does appear as if sexual and reproductive health has become a global issue, coming to the front burner, unlike those days when things like this are not discussed in the public domain. It is something that even people are preaching that it should be taught in schools. Why do you think this is necessary?
Thank you so much. For instance, let me say, first of all, we applaud the establishment of this World Contraception Day. For us family planning stakeholders, it's been a need that we have advocated for long, because the issue of problems with family planning, reproductive health, the unmet needs, the rate at which we have what we call very low contraceptive prevalence rate, which is a ratio, that is a percentage where we have the contraception being available, the rate of people currently using contraception, either by the husband or a partner and so on. So we feel that it's becoming alarming, and there are a lot of things that are attached to it. If we are bothered about the maternal mortality rate in this area of the world, in developing countries, because we have a case of where we are having about 700,000 cases. But for Lagos State, we have about 555. As in Lagos, that is the commercial center of Nigeria. But when you look at going further down, we may have as high as 700, over 100,000 live births. And women children, we are talking of childbearing age. When we talk of that, we mean the 15 to 49 years of age. When anybody dies like that, I will say 555 within 100,000 is so high.
That's just in Lagos alone. That figure.
Lagos. That figure is for Lagos. 555 women are 100,000 life paths. If you go further inside where the rural people are, this is Opan, is also a commercial center. You know, out of Lagos, we have about a population of 23 million. And we have this childbearing age we're talking about is about 5 million from statistics. So when you have all these ones all over the world, and we have a problem where a lot of women are dying, the stakeholders are, it's not done in many places like that. If somebody, for instance, in Sweden, if just one person died, a woman died, the whole place is set on fire. They have to arrest, find the cause, find so many things. But you can imagine the alarming rate, and a lot of things is determined. There are variables we have unmet needs. What do I mean? The unmet needs are, there are people who actually want to, but they cannot. Presently, they are not using any family planning. That is, just as the name implies, unmet needs. They need to have
one or two methods,
but for one reason or the other, for various complaints we have received, it's not being done. So the national contraceptive prevalence rate was in 2014 at 15%.
Has it changed? Because the figure we have even as of today is still almost the same figure, 15%.
But at 2014, when the national goal, of which I call a very ambitious goal, came that by 2018, which is about 100 days ahead, the contraceptive prevalence rate should be boosted up to 36%. Then Lagos State had 48%. For now, we are having it. Now we in Lagos State, we want to boost up to 74% by that 2018, which is around the corner. So a lot of things are being done. This is one of the things where we need to spring up. And the essence is when we are improved the contraceptive prevalence rate, it has adverse a lot of good effects on the maternal mortality rate.
Okay, now we'll come to the benefits, really, why people should take to contraceptive use. But then let's look at some of the available, methods that you have in Nigeria as we speak. Many people are saying some of these barriers, that's what it's called, isn't it? Now, some of these barriers, if you're living with your partner, for instance, a legally married wife or husband, that you don't actually need some of these things. Is that correct?
No, it is not correct. And that's one of the problems where we have this unmet needs. That's why one of the problems where we have this contraceptive prevalence rate will be cause of misconceptions and myths. Among the women, among the child-bearing age, there are a lot of things. You will remember that even the age group, 15 to 49, falls within what the WHO calls the areas of the adolescent, which is the age group of 10 to 19. But we are saying the childbearing age starts from 15 to 49, like I thought. There are a lot of barriers we have. Even in schools, we advocate that sex education should be given. They should know what it is, when to get pregnant, when to have it as healthy as possible, so that they will not add to this percentage of high maternal mortality rate. Not only that, if they are not told, there is no sensitization. Even women that are married, like you said, still have a lot of myths and misconceptions. Even the male sector of the community still believe a lot of things of promiscuity. Some talks about side effects. This is because of the lack of knowledge of most of these methods. A lot of people don't even know the method, the mode of action of each. I will tell you that in various methods we have different modes of action, and we have suitable for different people.
Can you be specific, ma? Because this is also part of educating the public who are probably listening to you on exactly how to go about it and which method that suits them. Now, many people have said there are so many side effects with family planning, and so they don't want to go into it really.
And these are what we call the barriers into these problems. But where there are a lot of methods, I will talk on. We actually grade. Family planning is as old as humanity. Our people have been practicing something or the other we call the traditional method. But most of these traditional methods now, the ones that we are just mentioning about 3 of those ones that are remnants of the old traditional methods, like we have the abstinence. Abstinence is still the best.
One of the
major one, and we put that one under the traditional methods. Another traditional method is the douching, which is very dangerous. I must say that on this forum, because a lot of women, we see them on the field, they still come and say, when you start asking them, what are you doing? I use chemicals after intercourse to wash the line, so many things. We say it is very dangerous. So it's not one of them. Another one is the withdrawal method. The withdrawal is still very with us, because and I'm sure the withdrawal is that the man pull out the penis before the introduction of the semen. So it is still done, but the effectiveness rate is very low. And we advise that from this traditional method, we can switch on to what we call the modern
contraceptive methods.
Which are we have the barrier methods. The barrier methods are the female condom, the male condom. You are aware that we have the female condom, and they are available. Particularly in Lagos State, they are free. Most contraceptives are free in their public facilities, and in some of our private facilities, almost about 174 facilities, they are free. So condoms, they are easily accessible. Then we have the natural family planning, which we call the fertility awareness method, which is one of the parts of the traditional before the safe period, the calendar period, where the woman can study the scenario of the dates. He knows when he ovulates. He can study the system. He can study the mucus. There are a lot of things in there. Apart from that natural family planning, we have what we call the lactation and amenorrhea method. That is a woman who, after delivery, is able to breastfeed very well, can use it as a method of family planning. But there are other things that goes with it. He needs an expert to take through what is to be done. That. He has to breastfeed the baby day and night
for that to work properly.
And again, he must not give the breast on demand. Why? Because there are 2 hormones there, which is the prolactin and oxytocin, that comes out more in the night. So if a woman gets up in the night, that's why babies, when they are born within the 3 months to 4 months, what do? They wake up in the night. God is so powerful that he has done in such a way that the child will suck. That's prolactin and to let down, as well as to let the baby suckle. So if that is in place, that's a method of fertility awareness method, we call it, or natural family planning method. Anybody can do it. But our mothers are advised to breastfeed without adding water till 6 months, and then proceed to 2 years. And we are talking of family planning spacing. We say family planning and child spacing, we advise on the 2 years intervals before another pregnancy.
Okay, so 2 years is a normal interval to space, so that when space in between 2 pregnancies.
Before you want to decide on another one, the child, there are a lot of merits there, apart from the womb. that. Other methods I want to talk about.
There are plenty of methods. So
yes.
We'll look at that. But I think we have a clip of a demonstration by a medical health expert also trying to tell people how to use the modern contraceptive method. So we'll take that clip now and we'll come back to continue this discussion.
Condom.
Okay, that's the first thing.
Yes, you locate the tip.
Okay.
Then you cannot put it on a soft penis. The penis must be erect before you can put it.
Okay.
Yes, must be ready for action. That's what I mean by must be erect. So by the time you locate the tip,
okay,
then you place it on the tip of the condom like this. Then you try to roll it down as I'm doing until it reaches the root of the penis.
Okay.
Because this is the reservoir. The tip will stay like this. It is the reservoir for the sperm. Then after the action, you just roll it back gently. Gently.
Modern contraceptive methods, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I've talked with some men.
This is the barrier, what we call the barrier
method. You also have that for the female and for the males,
yes,
right?
Yes, we have that for the female.
Okay.
We have that for the female.
I've heard of men who don't want to use condom because they are married. To them, if they don't have any extramarital affair, then there's no need wearing this. So let's look at the benefits you are trying to talk about of some of this modern contraceptive method. Does contraception alone prevent maternal mortality? That's what people want to find out, really.
We will say that it does to a certain percentage. If we can reduce, we can have our contraceptive prevalence rate. Moving on to what the Lagos State is running as far as 74, it's going to reduce about 40% of that mortality, maternal mortality, which is high enough. If you reduce, we are talking of in Lagos, say 555, all over some area, we are saying 800 among them. Whereas in other countries, they don't joke with just one death of a mother. You remember what we mean by maternal mortality rate is that the death of any woman, either as a result of pregnancy or abortion, and the rest of it. We are not talking of accidental or incidental causes. So it will reduce a lot. Not only that, it will limit our population, because already we have the growth rate of the population in Nigeria as of now is 3.2%. So the vast, you can see all over. If it's an area that is developed now, we have a lot of congestions, and it's even telling on all our resources, our schools, our overpopulated. There are a lot of things that is going on. So if people will have the number that they can afford and they are able to cater for, then most of these problems will not be there. Then you remember that the child health and maternal health is very important. Women are the ones that are child rearing most of the time, and then they need to recuperate between births. So by the time we have some of these methods given to them, voluntarily accepted by them, in collaboration with our male, because we are talking of male participation. Though it's voluntary, but we encourage our men to give them the support. Likewise, all over our environment, the community, we have the traditional people around the community, we have our politicians, we have the government. We need to put a lot of resources into the funding of this. What we are saying is that let the methods be available, all methods. Let them have the method, what we call a method choice, where everybody will be able to pick what is convenient.
So how do we deal with the myths and misconception about family planning?
Yes.
You know, many people who know about it, know about the modern contraceptive method, but just would not use them because they believe there are side effects.
Thank you so much. We cannot deal with myths and misconceptions without having the information. Everybody must be sensitized. And it starts from sex education in school. It goes on to family planning stakeholders going to the market to talk about the gospel of family planning. Is brought there, tell them what is to be done. We have our media too, advocating where the government are still lacking in funding. By the time like this program you are doing now, it's like sensitizing people. They should know that these things are available in our private facilities as well as our public facilities, and which is what most of our developmental partners are doing. In Lagos State alone, we have a lot of them working. We have Nori, we have Pathfinder, we have shops, we have Mary Stopes. So they are doing a lot to fund and then capacity building for even the family planning providers, where they can go in and give health talks. This myths and misconception is all over there, to go to the community and tell them. And then we have what we call the interfaith fora. We have the Muslims, the Christians. We employ them as well. We go around as advocacy group like Logi and Pfizer, and we go around these groups, we talk to them so that they impact. You know, Nigeria, people, their belief is strong. So whatever they hear from those churches,
religious leaders, they take it so high. Okay. So this is one of the things. Those myths and misconceptions, we teach them, the leaders, we teach the media, we teach the schools, and then they can also disseminate. The message is spread.
Yes.
All right. There are also some reproductive health experts who believe that, or who say that there are enough evidence to suggest that women who have more than 4 children,
yes,
you know, are not properly spaced, are at risk of maternal mortality.
Yes,
is this assertion true?
Yes, it is very true. It is very true. I'm sure you are aware of a time in Nigeria when we have a policy on family planning. Well, let me take you back to what we had. At that time, we had morally the family planning in place. But we are a member of the International Conference on Population and Development, which we belong to. In 1994, they had it in Cairo, and Nigeria was part. At that time, it was said we were following our policy of the regime of 4 children per 1 woman. So we are talking about, I have just mentioned about the interfaith, where we have our group that sometimes they can marry, but we can have as many as 16.
Which is very unhealthy for the women, really.
So, but when they went to ICPD in Cairo, they came back, and we have now the paradigm shift from family planning to what we call reproductive. And everybody brought, what is your policy? We took our policy there of 4 per woman. So that is what brought this reproductive health. We now have limiting. We have everything. How do you limit? And
how do you space? All right.
Family planning and childbirth spacing. That's the word.
Sir, our time is up, but I won't let you go without at least asking you your message to Nigerian women in particular, and even men, as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark the World Contraception Day. In 10 seconds, if you can round off with that.
Yes. My message to everybody, not only to the women this time, our main participation in family planning is key, because they need support. These methods I have mentioned, there are some methods that are long-acting reversible methods, we call them, like the IUD. Please, every woman must seek for knowledge. We have the implant, and if you are tired of having babies, there are the methods of the voluntary surgical contraception, the tubal ligation, which we call the permanent method. You can walk into any local government, any area. We have the signs of the family planning. Lagos State is filled of that. We have an enabling environment. We also have demand generation is going on by some of these partners I mentioned that you can walk in.
And they are quite free, really, right?
Yes.
In Lagos, for instance.
They are.
All right. So,
Yeah.
so the issue of I don't have money to get
They
a
are
method of-
free. They are free. Even the private facilities.
All right, ma'am.
Yes.
Our time is up. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
making
much.
time to share this thought with us.
Yes.
I've been speaking with Mrs. Abimbola Adegbulugbe, a member of the Lagos State Advocacy Working Group, also known as FISA, that's Public Health Sustainable Advocacy Initiative, who also happens to be a national master trainer on family planning and reproductive health issues, consultant, Planned Parenthood Federation of Nigeria. Little wonder she talks about Planned Parenthood, and then a retired public health nurse to share with us issues around reproductive health as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark the World Contraception Day. It's been a pleasure talking to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
All right, I link you back to Abuja now for more on Kakaki, the African Voice, the concluding part, actually. Thank you so much for always being there with us. Do make it a date with us tomorrow. My name is Koli Omodu. Bye for now.